All right, welcome back to Scotch Hour. I'm Noah.
And I'm Jesse.
And I'm Brian.
All right, guys. So we did have a shortened week this week in recording. So how was your past couple days?
Man, my couple of days were just that fast and furious. They were great. Lots of work and, productive. Nothing bad. Great weather the last couple of days. Wonderful weather we get to talk about later tonight when we talk about our little adventure this evening. Looking forward to that. And it's just a good couple very productive days at work. How about yourself, Brian?
For me, it has only been a couple of days, so it's been short.
This week flew.
Yeah, not a lot to talk about. I did get to go to the gym with my son, Dylan, so that was fun. Also took a trip with my wife, Erin, to get some stuff from Camping World, because in our last episode, we talked about camping, and our camper did have some issues, so we had to fix
Gray
that.
line, right?
What's that?
The gray line.
Yes. Yeah, the gray line. I was able to not have to replace the entire tube.
Well, that's good.
Got some rubberized coating spray, found the crack, and I think it's going to hold. So
Sweet.
that was fun. Yeah, and we had to drive all the way to drop the camper off, which is in Elizabeth, and drive all the way to Wheat Ridge, where Camping World is, and got to enjoy a nice spicy tuna roll at the Yard House.
Ooh, the Yard House is a great place. I never went. I think I've only been to the Yard House once in Colorado with you, your mom, the boys, and Aaron. But I used to go there quite frequently in Las Vegas when I lived out there.
Great beers. Great service. The one up in it's over by Colorado Mills has a great view of the flat top mesas over there in Golden. So it was a great trip, and we have inspired my wife, Erin, to jump in and try some different liqueurs.
Wise choice.
Yeah, we stopped at Tipsy's.
Way to go, Erin.
Yeah, Tipsy's Wine, Liquor World, and Erin got herself some salted caramel whiskey that she's excited to drink on our next camping trip.
Not quite a Scotch.
Not yet.
But baby steps.
Yeah, but I've got a bottle of Scotch I'll be bringing up there, camping up to Grand Lake, that I'm sure that her cousins will love to dive in with me, no doubt. She'll probably taste some. Yeah, so I think that's quite a bit for just a couple of days.
Yeah,
How about
that
you,
is.
Noah?
Me, it was just been a pretty slow week at work. Doing a lot of, I guess it's supposed to be a lot of prep work. I haven't really been able to go out too much. I did go shopping at Costco for the first time around over here in this area.
Yeah. That might lead us into our next topic of conversation, which was
dinner. Dinner. Yeah, we got, I did pick up some really nice New York strips over there. And unfortunately, I didn't really think about it when I was out and about, because it was the one day I went out so far this week. I didn't really have.
You're working too hard, Noah.
Yeah, which probably made your smarter challenge pretty difficult.
Pretty difficult in this very shortened week.
Yes.
Now I understand why every time I came home, Noah's like, "Hey, nice shirt."
Didn't count. Had to be a stranger.
Yeah, remember, it's supposed to be people I don't know. But I did go to the gym a few times, and I really wanted to go tonight, but with our shortened week, we had to record tonight, so I'll just go tomorrow.
Yeah. Double trouble.
That's
right.
All right, so that's kind of my week, and so I guess we'll talk about Scotch.
Or let's jump into the
Let's
Scotch.
jump into the Scotch, and then
it is Scotch hour, right? So,
So what are we drinking here today, Jesse?
Yeah,
all right.
How do you pronounce this? Did you do any homework on this?
I didn't do any homework on this one. This one,
neither did I,
is a 13-year. It was part of a Scotch venture we decided to choose because of the many tangents you can go on with 13 of anything. 13 bloodlines from our last episode is just one of the many. Why don't they put a 13th floor in most hotels? Lots of different things.
There's not many 13 Scotches. We found only
right.
one 13-year, and we kind of missed the boat on our 13th episode. We really should have dove into this 13-year
and now we're doing the same for our 14th year, because we have a 14-year that we're going to save for the 15th.
And then we got a 15th that we're going to save for the 16th.
Yeah, and then the 16th, will be for Father's Day. Perfect. Hey, that's when we catch up.
All right.
So always a day late and a dollar short.
Yeah.
So this is a Speyside single malt Scotch whiskey, as we have done so far, always a single malt. Speyside, part of the Highlands, not necessarily our old Highlands part of Speyside, but Speyside is part of the Highlands, and we've had a lot of great luck with Speyside Scotches.
Yes, we have.
Edward and Mackie are the founders of, I'm going to call it Craigellachie.
Sure.
That sounds perfect. I'm sure that's exactly how you say it.
I'm sure that's how the Scott.
The Scots I'm going to have to break out the phone and
well
and
done,
check
Jesse.
it's not that I'm calling you on that, but
generally we do research this before we record, but today we just kind of
it's all in. It's fast.
In fact, I'd like to hear you pronounce that again.
Craigellachie.
Okay, Craigellachie.
Craigellachie.
All right,
Hold up, man.
it's coming. You just
yeah.
How about
right.
this? How about we'll go with Craigellachie, and then later on when I edit, I'll put the actual YouTube
version.
over.
Yeah, nice.
Brian's going to find the actual name, and then we're going to talk about how difficult
type it in. That is
some of these. How difficult some of these names are to pronounce with our naive English heritage.
Hey, that's the best part about being Americans. We're allowed to butcher stuff. Like that, like everyone around the world knows that we just don't pronounce things correctly anyways.
All right.
We don't even pronounce English words correctly.
Yeah, that's all right.
We don't even spell them right.
Sherlock. I said that right. All right, Brian. You got your Stormtrooper.
You got to miss a glass at least once with the Stormtrooper.
Oh, man. I think I'm going to make it.
To me.
Even blind, man.
Well, I wish I could find some type of pronunciation. There is a Craigellachie hotel.
Craigellachie Hotel.
Came across that.
It's Craigellachie.
All right. Dun, 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 dun. All right.
Force choke. I can't
is...
force choke you, though, because you're pouring my Scotch.
Unless he doesn't pour it properly.
Oh, he got it.
He didn't miss the cup
your
once.
Lack of pouring. Does Darth Vader say your lack of faith?
Yeah.
Something?
All right.
Okay, so
all right, gentlemen. Cheers to your Scotch hour.
Brian, Noah, another Scotch hour.
So I will say this, from the last couple that we've tried, it is a much darker golden color.
It is.
I agree.
Pretty smooth nose.
If you're asking me, I feel like I'm getting a little kind of a fruity scent.
Yeah, we shouldn't really say anything until you do your analysis.
Whatever you say. Exactly.
Yeah.
We say banana and all of a sudden it's banana bread.
Yeah, I'm not trying to come off as a complete rookie every time. I should be showing some growth,
I don't really get a whole lot on the nose.
Yeah, it's really mild.
Yeah.
It's hard to get anything. Have you already tasted it, Jesse?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Looks like it must be pretty hot.
Not immediately either. It takes a couple seconds to build.
Maybe that's why they don't make 13 years. Maybe we're already seeing the problem.
13th floor. I'm going to wake up tomorrow with my foot behind
If you
my
wake
head.
if you wake up on the 13th floor here, there's issues.
Yeah, like, hey, I am approximately 110 feet above my house.
I didn't really get that heat. Maybe because, it does.
It builds late.
Yeah, it takes a second to get to you.
It does. It's not like a hot heat though. It's just,
No.
but it does definitely like increase on the back end. Flavors?
For me, I honestly, I'll start since you guys will influence whatever I say. I feel like I'm kind of getting a little bit of that kind of woody, sort of oak type of taste.
Some wood.
Yeah.
Good.
Getting some wood.
Getting some wood.
He said wood. Sorry. Yeah. Downhill in a hurry. All right, no, you better recover this before it goes too far down.
He said wood.
Yeah, I know. We could do an episode on that.
Beers and Butthead? I loved that show growing up.
Oh my gosh.
man.
Watch it so much in college.
Remember Chris McKee? He pretty much, his voice became Butthead. That's all he would talk like. It was horrible.
That's hard to pronounce. But there's a trick. Think of it as a love story. Craig fell for Ella, who gave her the key to his heart. Craig, Ella, key.
Oh my God! I got it right.
Pretty close.
What are the chances?
Craigellachie.
Craigellachie.
So
Craigellachie.
Craigellachie.
That's pretty dang close.
That is pretty good.
I'm gonna drink to that.
I would say,
Man.
cheers to you.
That's
on
all the
that,
practice. That's
Jesse.
the 14th different name we're
Congratulations.
pronouncing.
I would have had like
Craigellachie.
Craigellachie or something. Craigellachie.
Craigellachie.
Nice.
I get like a slight hint of orange on the front.
Kind of like a Glenmorangie 10-year.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Third sip, not as hot. Maybe the ice really tamed yours down
It really
right
did.
off the
I
bat.
did not get the heat.
Oh man, I did.
Yeah, I didn't get the heat.
I was like the popo at the door. Knock, knock, knock.
The
Hide
popo.
the guns. What do you guys do during Scotch hour? I don't know. They watch Beavis and Butthead.
Yes. I kind of scatter all over the place, which maybe let's start. We didn't really dive into the dinner. And
Well, we haven't really dived into this, though.
Oh, we still got to discuss this.
For me, great golden color. Very smooth, slightly creamy nose. I am getting that citrus, and I think that's what I'm pulling the heat off of is it dances on my tongue. And I want to use that term dances because as I first take a sip, it doesn't pronounce itself immediately. It takes a moment to build. And as I get to enjoy the flavors, it's nothing so bold as orange, but hints of orange and other citrus, followed by a very mild American oak, a little vanilla, and again, that creamy finish. It actually has a very smooth finish for me.
For a Scotch that I never even heard of, you look at the thing, I'm like, I don't know. When I look at the label,
You pretty much chose it for the number 13.
I did choose it for the number 13 because we were going to talk about the 13 bloodlines,
and
which we
missed the boat
did
on that
last
last
week.
week.
And we totally missed the boat.
Maybe not. Maybe this is our tie-in to getting people to watch 2 episodes.
Possibly.
2 episodes. If you saw the 14, you really want to watch the 13, even though you're getting the 13-year Scotch in the 14.
Maybe.
Feel like I just went Beavis and Butthead on you guys.
We just both kind of missed it.
All right, Noah, what about some scents and flavors for you?
Well, like I said, I get that slight bit of orange at the beginning. The mid palate's not a whole lot to write home about, but like near the tail end, you're getting like just like you said, like a slight hint of vanilla. Definitely get the oak on the finish.
Yeah,
and all in all, for the price point that we paid for it, I think it's a decent Scotch.
I think it's a good Scotch.
Yeah.
I would say it's not heavy. It's not a heavy Scotch. So for me, I would almost I don't want to, say something bad about it, but this is a good thing. It's almost like Scotch light.
there you go.
It's very light. This is something I could drink outside when it's sunny. It's not real thick and heavy.
Yeah, it's not something you're like, oh my God, this is a great Scotch, but it's not like, it's a terrible Scotch either. It's just kind of like.
Yeah, I think you guys are
Just
phrasing
right
it well. It is light. I think that's a really good way to put it. And one of the truths is, and I think I speak for Brian as well, and Noah, we like a heavier Scotch a lot of the times. Not all the times, to your point. Great for a warm summer day. But if I had my choice, I'm still going a little more peat.
Probably. Or something a little bit better aging in oak or something like that, or maybe like a double cask or something.
Yeah.
Well, had we started with this Scotch earlier this evening,
That is
sitting
true.
out on the back patio with that wonderful view,
Would have been perfect.
while you grilled up those perfect steaks. One, you chose great steaks, New York strips. They were awesome.
Thank you.
cuts.
All the credit goes to Costco.
It was a really thick cut, and sometimes that thick cut scares me a little bit with how to cook it. But I have to give 100% kudos to Jesse. The man knows his grill, and he outgrilled me 100 to 1 on that steak. It was so.
I wouldn't go that far. Thank you for the credit. Yeah, they were great steaks. And I think it comes to what you said about your ribeyes for last week's episode, which is it really comes down to an eye to picking out a great steak. And your ribeyes, the ones you brought over that you also cooked magnificently, perfectly marbled. And that was the same with these New York strips, a little bit leaner cut of meat, but still so well marbled that they cooked fabulously. At least, that's how I.
You want to know how I picked out the New York strips?
Show me.
Oh, New York strips, $55. Cool.
That'll work.
Yeah, they look thick.
Well, and you seared in. Yeah, they were. You seared in the juices perfectly. I mean, it had a nice. I mean, we've got some photos. You'll put them on.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jesse even did the. It has the nice like checkerboard on the side, on the front to back.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about the preparation, because I kind of. Like the seasonings.
It was very simple. So New York strip is not normally my choice in a steak. So if I have my choice, I will go to a ribeye or also a filet. A lot of people do not like fillets, even leaner than the New York strip. However, if you get a great one, just marbled enough, you get all that flavor in there, and it's such a great. I mean, I want my fillets at least 2 inch thick. It's such a great flavor, and also to your point, tricky to cook. You want the outside to really sear in that flavor on the inside while you're bringing the middle just to temp. And we're talking like 140 medium rare, not anything above that. Once you go too much further, it's done. Preparation wise, Noah and I had talked a little bit about this. One of the final pieces we do is we like to coat our steaks with a little bit of olive oil before we throw it on the grill. That helps with the searing process, also helps keep it from sticking to the grill, especially at a hot temp when you're talking 900 plus degrees. Slapping it on there, if it doesn't have that coating, sometimes the meat will stick. Before that, really quite simple, a little bit of kosher salt, a little bit of organic garlic powder, not the garlic salt, just the garlic powder, and then a little bit of organic Italian seasoning. Put that on. I splash it with a couple.
He said organic.
Like, you got to put a couple non-organic splashes.
I was going to say that's what she said, and I let it pass. It's good to know that you've kept it lowbrow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
That's all right.
2 inches.
I mean, if all you've got is 2 inches.
That's what she said.
But literally, so you got your kosher salt, your garlic powder, your Italian seasoning, couple splashes of Worcestershire sauce. Apparently, I'm the only person I know, by the way, that's ever gone through a bottle of that. I go through a couple bottles a year. And then
They're
olive
great in
oil.
a Bloody Mary.
Oh, absolutely. Slap it on the grill. These steaks were easily 1.5, like 1 3/4 inches thick. Yeah. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 1 minute. Turn off the heat, let them sit on there for a minute, and let them cool down just a little bit before you bring them in. At that point in time, we were prepping the sides. So we had our Brussels sprouts.
Which turned out great, by the way.
Yeah. Browned in just a little bit of butter, just a little bit of olive oil, and the same seasonings, a little garlic powder, a little Italian seasoning, and just let them kind of sear on the outside. And then the potatoes. So the potatoes were, the quick version, thank you, Kroger, of a Parmesan black truffle oil potato, also on the side. So you got your starch, you got your veggie, you got your meat. I like you guys said, I think it turned out all right.
I think it turned out pretty good.
And you say we. I mean, really, no
It was
one.
you.
I pretty much just watched you go to work. You were the man of the hour.
You definitely were the man of the hour. You pretty much did all the cooking. Brian
took some photos. I
Brian-
drank some wine.
Brian did the quality check with the wine.
Quality control.
And
Absolutely. Had a little clipboard.
my quarter Japanese came out again taking photos.
Well, when I'm cooking the steak, I notice one difference between yourself and myself, Ryan, and that is you set the timer on your phone. And one thing I'm very big on, and this is foreshadowing for the next Smarter Challenge, is using a chronograph, just clicking that in and watching the 2 minutes pass, the 2 minutes pass, the 1 minute, the 1 minute, and getting to the end of that steak, and then, hey, enjoying the food. So thank you guys. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I love cooking. I love grilling. I love experimenting with food. Someday if you guys want, we'll try 3 different types of potatoes with a great steak. And
Well, I guess since last week you cooked, this time you cooked. I guess it's my turn next time.
Bingo.
I think. Well, or we can spread things out between restaurant visits, and I mean that the meals that we've cooked here for ourselves. If we were to go to a steakhouse, we'd be spending triple digits and then some.
Hundreds of dollars.
I mean, steaks are not cheap right now, but definitely affordable to do it on your own. And I really wish, I mean, we got some photos that you'll see, but I wish we had had a picture of being able to see how perfectly cooked it was. I mean, the perfect amount of pink with the perfect searing on the edges, like to cut it open and show it. We'll have to remember that next time. But well done. Well done. I tip my hat to you 100%. You are the victor. Not
also,
that it was a competition.
So maybe next week we'll have Indian food.
Yeah, we're in.
Okay.
If I'm cooking, it's gonna be Indian food.
We're gonna watch you cook, and if the weather's nice, we're gonna eat that outside next week.
Okay,
that sounds good. That might just have a trip or two to the restroom, like mid filming.
Oh my goodness,
could be interesting.
Could be.
Yeah,
maybe.
You guys would be like, "What is that smell?"
Why is he looking over the fence again?
All right, so
that handles dinner. And then after dinner, Noah.
Let's talk about the great place you recommended. We ventured to.
Yeah. So we did go visit a place, kind of scope it out and see if we want to shoot on location there.
Well, this is something else I do daily. This is part of my workout regimen.
I love it.
Is riding my bike, and I ride all over the southeastern Aurora area, up and down Smoky Hill, Arapahoe. And one of my stops I like to stop at is Bookmakers.
Yes.
That was the original name.
Yes.
Bookmakers. And they have since changed their sign. It just basically says Burgers, Bourbon, and Brew. And it's a great little family-owned restaurant. And my family frequents it when we go, like after sporting events at CT. They've got absolutely delicious burgers. And I went in there, and it's the perfect place for us because they really kind of specialize in whiskeys and bourbons, and they do have a small selection of scotches.
I would say I was a little bit disappointed because even with their small selection of scotches, they were out of 2 scotches that we requested that was on their
Well, I would be willing to bet because when I was there, we were there at a very busy time. But when I was in there on my afternoon ride, drinking 2 different 1-ounce pours of scotch, I think the bartender thought I was a little crazy to do that mid-bike ride.
No, that's how you win.
Well, I felt great leaving. I felt great leaving, but then as I pedaled away, I'm like, oh, that just doesn't it doesn't sit as well when you're going to bike home, and I live pretty close. But I think if we were to ask them, hey, if there's a scotch we're interested in, I have no doubt that they would supply it. But that was I kind of talked to them about our Scotch hour, and that we're looking for an on locale shoot, and we're going to try and see if we can get a hold of the owner and see if that's a possibility. So
yes, absolutely.
Looking forward to that. And then tonight, after our delicious steak dinner, I took you guys up there to survey it. And what were your thoughts?
I thought it was a great atmosphere. I really do enjoy, to both extremes, I enjoy the places where you think some billionaire's running a restaurant at a loss because the service is so fabulous and the food is something you don't forget for 6 months. But I also love the place that I would coin as a family restaurant or a family pub,
I would say it's a neighborhood pub.
Yeah, neighborhood pub. Yeah. So with that, you brought up a really good point. So nice, quaint in a positive way.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I get that.
It was great service. You brought up one point, though, that I really want to think about, and that is it is a smaller shop. We are just exiting COVID. People were out enjoying life. Good for all of us. We were part of that group, thankfully. And with that, I'm sure that the supply does have some demand challenges because there are more people than these businesses have seen in a year and plus.
Well, we got like the last table. We kind of were able to squeeze in, and a table was just being bussed, and they sat us right down. And
talking about that, I did think the service was on point.
Yeah.
You know how before I said I didn't like how them coming by too much.
Yes.
And then the next time we went out, they didn't come by at all.
Oh yeah.
Here at this place, they stopped by, they checked up on us. It wasn't they didn't come by too often. They didn't come, I think it was about right.
Well, there might be a chance that like I said, it is family owned. And I don't know if they have changed ownership since, but there's a chance that one of the people that came to give us service might have been one of the family members.
Yeah.
Because originally when we did go there, I was so excited about the place. I was, this is the coolest place. Because they've got some nice big TVs. And it was originally called Bookmakers. And because
Sports
they have
bar.
like sports bar, like betting lines on there. So I kind of got to talking to the gal who was our server at that time, and she was the daughter of the owner. So there's a chance that maybe, one of the family members was waiting on us tonight, and we look forward to the opportunity to hopefully, we've already given them a nice little plug, but hopefully they'd allow us to plug our show and squeeze in and shoot there, because it's the perfect quaint establishment to sit.
That's a good word for it, quaint.
It really is. And I love that just the wall of liqueurs, all the bourbon, all the whiskey, all the scotch that they have there.
Yeah, you guys know we'll show you the photo here. And with that, it was fun. Yeah, it was a fun experience.
It really was. I think the bookshelf area, or like, I guess where the behind the bar.
Yeah.
I love the wood that they had there. I love how they displayed all the different scotches and whiskeys and bourbons and other bottles of liqueur up there. And overall, I like the presentation for, even though it is quaint, it is small, I like the presentation that they had there. And I think it'd be a great place for us to do an on location
I think so. Win-win.
Scotch hour.
Win-win.
Yeah.
Little
I think it
advertising
would
plug
totally
for
be a
them.
win-win.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing well. I mean, people are going, usually. But the thing is, what's always nice about it is I feel like anytime we go there, even if it's busy, we find a spot. It's like just always.
It's meant to be.
It's meant to be. Yeah, they're open for business for sure.
Like I said, the one thing I wish they would have had is I wish they would have had the scotch that I ordered.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned, Jesse.
Yeah.
With the coming out of COVID, we do know that there are shortages that are out there. The supply chains have been breaking down a little bit. So it goes. There should be somewhat of an expectation that maybe not every restaurant has everything that's on their menu. So and that can be forgiven.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we ventured away from the establishment, we stopped at the liquor store next door, and they didn't have that scotch in stock, so it's not like they couldn't just go next door and find it.
Right.
If that had been the case, whole different story. Like, you can't go next door and get me my scotch. Now we've got a problem. But honorable mention, so none of us were hungry. But we had to try at least a snack, and with that, we got the blue cheese balsamic reduction chips. And
They got it. Those two.
Yeah, Noah's not a fan of blue cheese.
Noah's a no-go on
I'm a no-go on the blue cheese.
But I was a fan. I thought they were great. And if had it actually been hungry, they would have been amazing.
Well, they had some bacon in there that was really good. Some nice hickory smoked bacon. It tasted delicious.
Were perfect. That was the win.
They were, they're hand-cut chips. I mean, you could tell they weren't something out of a bag or something that is bought to taste like a pub chip. They were, I think, made there, so they were delicious.
Yes, they were.
And, we kind of mentioned they didn't have a whole lot of scotch to choose from. But, they kind of coined themselves as more whiskey and bourbon, and they had lots of whiskey and bourbon. And we've even talked about doing a whiskey version of a Scotch hour coming up. So,
or a bourbon version.
A bourbon version. We'll be delving into that also.
They did have Blantons up on the shelf, which I was surprised about because I can't find that in any of the liquor stores in this state right now.
Yeah, but how about the liquor store next door? They had plenty of the ever-searching Game of Thrones bottles you guys were looking for.
Yeah, we'll be back.
We'll be back to get some of those.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Yeah. Why'd you have to drop that?
Oh yeah, now everybody's gonna go out and get it, and it's gone. Sorry about that.
And now we can't taste it on Scotch Hour. I mean,
that's what we get for having so many fans. That's what we get for having so many fans out there. If we go back to that liquor store and all those bottles are gone, that's a good thing. That means people are listening.
We did well for the liquor store, but it's bad for us.
But no, it's good. We must have lots of viewers. We have a viewer out there that listened and took our advice and went and snagged those good bottles.
I will say, though, the Game of Thrones scotches that we have tried on here,
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. They've all been great. You tried one.
I'm 1 for 1 on the Lagavulin 9. That's the one I've tried.
So there's also the Dalwhinnie, which we've had, as well as the Oban. And no one I can contest. And
both great. You'll have to try the Dalwhinnie. I think there's still some around.
Yeah.
What I mean,
that might be a post-show one.
if we're talking Scotch hour, I did try the Glenfiddich 14.
Yeah.
And you tried the Glenfiddich 14 there. We thought that was a
Yeah,
good
that was
pour.
good. It was that was a nice pour. We'll have to actually do a full review in a show.
Yeah, I had on my bike ride had tried the Balvenie 14 and the Glenfiddich 15, and so when we came back, I had to compare the Glenfiddich 15 to the 14, and like in our past episode, we compared the Lagavulin 8 and 9 year, and it was a substantial difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This was post production.
Hey, this is awesome. Like, you were never like I don't know
you
if
got
you were
my
ever
heartstrings.
I don't know if you were ever a big Scotch drinker before now, but
Never had Scotch prior to Scotch hour, except for I think Jesse brought a good bottle up to your mom's wedding.
exactly.
That was it. So yeah. So when I tried the Glenfiddich 14 compared to the 15, it's still very good. So out there, if you want to save yourself the $13 in a year,
See, look at this. He goes out, he listens to our show, and gets a haircut, tips well.
I need to get a damn haircut.
Yeah, you need to get a haircut. And now he's going out on his own and he's drinking Scotch.
look at the growth.
Look
Or
at the growth.
I don't know if this could be growth. I mean, it's a pretty expensive hobby.
No, I think,
going on
well,
here, but,
so was having kids.
indeed, no doubt about that.
Scotch kids. You got to choose.
Yeah,
I chose Scotch.
Sorry, boys. yes, you did. And I have for tonight.
Oh, my goodness. Oh.
You got kids. He has kids.
Yeah,
I got Scotch.
We still chose our
I've actually
kids.
arranged for one of those kids to come pick me up tonight, so I don't have to go quite as easy on the
Yeah.
Scotch, which will be nice.
That would be nice. I'm going to have to probably borrow one of those nephews one of these times and use them as a DD.
They would love it. I mean, they're still are looking forward. They have 5 years to. Well, I guess it's about 4 now, but they are still holding you to the Las Vegas trip.
Hey, we're down, man.
Yeah. One of the three.
And if my XRP hits the roof,
we're
we're
tearing up that town.
Oh yeah, we're tearing it up.
I don't know if I can be
speaking of
there for
which,
that.
Oh yeah.
I am still winning that competition, by the way.
Yes, you are still winning it.
Yeah, just to revisit, how is I'm very concerned because I'm curious because I really your logic on the Ulta was just superb.
Oh yeah,
how's Ulta doing?
So my Ulta is still up. It's taken a little bit of a slide the past couple of days, but it is still up. My Ferrari stock is way up, and Target's doing great as well. My XRP is the one thing that I'm still in the negative with.
So I think when we bought XRP,
It was kind of at a bad time for me. It was
for both of us, really, because I
$1.35.
think we both bought it at $1.40, and now it's hovering like right around 97 cents or something like that.
Yeah.
And when I purchased, because I made 3 purchases, so the other one I purchased was Harmony 1,
Yes.
and let me see if I can pull that up. But in any case, I believe I think it's about, that's down too, because I think when I purchased it, it was like right around 20 cents.
Well, I mean, all cryptocurrency I think right now is taking a bit of a hit. It doesn't seem like legislation is moving in their favor at this stage.
Right now, my Ulta is up $15. My Ferrari is up $15, and my Target is up almost 20.
Okay,
Nice.
so Harmony 1, I bought it at 12 cents a coin, and it is currently trading at 10 cents. So I'm down 2 cents.
Yeah.
And then the other one I got was VeChain. And VeChain I had purchased at 20 cents a coin, and that is currently trading at 13 cents.
Yeah.
So down.
Yeah.
Cryptocurrency.
Which is kind of weird because VeChain actually had some really good news come out recently. But
They all have. I'm actually kind of surprised based on the news, to your point, that you're not in the lead right now. The one that I will say that doesn't surprise me is the Ulta stock. I've seen more people wearing makeup the past 2 weeks than I've seen in the past 2 years, and people I've never seen wearing makeup that I've known for 5 years plus. I expected the race stock, so Ferrari stock, actually to kind of take a little bit of a fall after they announced, hey, we are not going to commit to 100% electric cars like all these other manufacturers. we are going to stay true to some of this technology and some of this engineering that we've done with fossil fuel burning cars, which that's part of their history. The longest running team in Formula One racing. I think that, yeah, they should hold on to that if that's what they believe in. And then the other piece is like Target. Target is doing well. Who wouldn't expect that? I didn't expect it to be doing that well.
You know, you talk about seeing people's faces now and people wearing makeup.
Oh, absolutely.
Have you, like, I don't know if you noticed, but like there are people that maybe you hadn't ever known, like pre-COVID, and you only knew them wearing a mask. And you kind of like tend to think you know what they look like without the mask, and then they take it off. And you're like, whoa.
Yes.
I had no idea you looked like that. Like your mind kind of fills in the blanks, and you think this is what you're supposed to look like.
Is that a good woe or a bad woe?
It's a different woe.
Oh, you're fugly. Oh, wow, you're nice.
No, because I was going to use the example.
Oh, you got some messed up teeth.
How about, whoa, man, you've got such a strong jaw.
There you go. Mine was more towards like with my students, because you just get to know them on a yearly basis. And, you know, just when they would eat or drink, you'd see them pull it down. And it's funny how your face, your brain fills in what you think is there. And when they take their mask down, it's not what I expected. It's not a bad thing, especially when I'm talking about, you know, kids and my students. But
yeah, I got to throw in the off-color humor.
Yeah, it just made me think of, you know, Ulta, and now, you know, you're getting to see people's faces again and getting to see people going out to establishments again. It's nice to get back to normal.
Yeah.
On a lot of levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The important thing for any of you guys out there listening to us talking about this, make sure you're doing it for you. To me, that's what's important. Wear your lipstick, wear your makeup. We're going to talk here briefly in a few moments about what we're trying to do to, as you mentioned, you're not just drinking scotch, you're exercising, going on bike rides, but we're doing it for us. So make sure you're doing that for you. Don't go wearing lipstick for everyone else just to get noticed. Wear lipstick for you because that makes you happy, confident, proud, and it's the image you want to be.
And well, it's kind of a nice little segue, you know, moving from COVID to the COVID 20, 30 or 40 or 50.
Mine's like 22.
And even talking about now that COVID is lifted, in another topic we're going to talk about, it with travel restrictions being lifted, is talking about some of vacations, some places we've traveled to in the past. So that's now that we're, you know, 40 minutes into our podcast, we can.
You said I've talked about last week's or the shortened week's Smarter Challenge.
Oh, Smarter Challenge, yeah. So we're about 40 minutes in. So now you know the topic we're going to discuss. And now we're going to refresh you on last week's Smarter Challenge. So
last week's Smarter Challenge was that we're supposed to compliment 5 people we didn't know.
Yeah. How's that going for you, Noah?
Not very well, since I've only left the house once. And, well, actually twice now. Yeah. And I have not really said anything to anybody, but I still have until Monday as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, man.
Yeah, sounds good.
But as far as the recording is going and when we're doing it, because it's a shortened week since you're leaving town, I am shooting a big fat goose egg.
Goose egg for 5.
Goose egg for 5.
5 people.
So I have not complimented one person. So if you're watching this, you're freaking awesome.
Nice.
Snap. Wait, 0 views.
Unless you,
but if there's like 20 views, I mean, I just complimented 20 people.
No, it's supposed to be like a genuine compliment.
Yes.
They are awesome if they're watching this.
If they are watching
this,
an
awesome person to watch us.
Honestly, like if they are watching it, I do greatly appreciate them, and thank you. You guys are incredible people for watching us.
Here's what I need to help you.
I'm going to let you count that as 1. That was a good one.
4 to go.
4 to go.
I still count it as 0. I'll
right, okay.
When we reconvene, I will have my 5.
I'm interested to hear how it goes, but I know that Jesse.
Oh, man, I nailed it. So one of the things I do is compartmentalize things very well. So I was like, all right, how do we make this so that it's easy to track, right? Like I need a result, and I need to be able to share my result. Keep it consistent, keep it simple. So mine was based on 5 people, shoes. Easy. Of the 5, 2 were male, 3 were female. It was so simple as things like, hey, those are great shoes. One that went over swimmingly, saw a young lady wearing Louboutins in a retail store, we'll say, and she was in the pet store, the pet section of the store, And I was like, wow, those are amazing shoes. Lit up, great. Everyone else was like, oh, thanks. Except for one. I was at the gym running on the treadmill. And
probably not the best place.
Yeah, I didn't, I was just like, hey man, I need number 5. Nailed it. And the person, there's 2 treadmill spacing still. They still do social distancing. So I'm on one, there's 2 treadmills empty, and a lady running 2 treadmills over, and she was getting off and had these bright red Nikes on. I love red. One of my favorite colors, if not my favorite color most of the time. So I was like, those are great shoes. I love your shoes. And she just looked at me like I was a creeper. Yeah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah. But anyway, the other 4 compliments worked. And the irony is it was a sincere compliment. She wasn't all that for me. If you're out there and you watch the show, remember that.
All right, Brian.
Well, I think I hit it. But I don't know that they were like forthright compliments, like personal compliments. And I did make the mistake of telling my wife Erin about the Smarter Challenge.
Uh-oh.
After I had complimented her. And so in the morning, she was trying on new clothes that my mom bought for her. And I told her those look great. And so when she found out the Smarter Challenge, she was like, is that why you complimented me? And I was like, no, you really did look great. So that almost kind of bit me. And it didn't count. I told her it didn't count anyway because she's not a stranger. So smooth that over. Smooth.
Nice. Dude, you're so smooth. Like this Scotch.
Like light and smooth.
Wait, light and smooth.
So here are my compliments. I, let's see, started out at Camping World and was explaining to a gentleman the issue we had with water leaking into the closet.
Please tell me you told him you loved his gun.
No. I said, I was like, dude, he was talking to me and I'm like, he's showing these things. And I'm like, dude, your biceps are pumped. No, I just did. I didn't go there. He was super helpful.
Check out your main vein.
And I did mention to him, because he was talking to me about it. And I mentioned to him, you were super helpful. I really appreciate that. So, I think that's a compliment. He would leave going, hey, I feel like I helped a customer. We then ventured, and I really wanted to be able to set the compliment at the Yard House. Because she was doing a great job, like the perfect amount of, sauce, just enough, but not too much. I mean, actually, like in the first 4 minutes, she was like Johnny on the spot, like came in sauce like every 4 minutes. And I was like, okay, this will be, or every minute she was talking to us about what do we want. I thought this would be easy, but didn't get to land a compliment there at the Yard House. But here's a delayed compliment that the service there was excellent. Thank you. Then we ventured over to Tipsy's Liquor World, and this is where I got my second and third. I might be one short at this point now that I think about it.
Well, technically, you have till Monday.
Yeah, I've got another one, so I can get that in. But I swear I thought I had them all. But at Tipsy's Liquor World, the manager, well, first I just kind of wandered over and asked a gentleman about the where we could find a salted caramel whiskey for my wife.
Yes.
And he took us and showed us like 5 different ones. He was like, well, come over here. There's some here. Come over here. There's some here. And I said, you're awesome. Thank you so much for your help. And then I said, well, by the way, I'm kind of interested in a kind of I have a peat palate for my my Scotch that I like to drink. He said, well, come over here. And he took me, kind of toured me on the Scotches, talked to me about all the different regions. So he was very knowledgeable. So I went ahead and told him, you're very knowledgeable. You really gave me a lot to think about. So I think that was a compliment. And then additionally, the manager, Brandon, who, a nice little, plug that we don't get paid for at Tipsy's Liquor World, Brandon came over and also kind of recommended a specific Scotch that I did buy, which is something we may feature in an upcoming episode. It's a Highland Park 12-year. He said it was going to be great for my palate, kind of peaty, kind of little hint of smoke, but not too smoky. His exact words is it's not like you're licking an ashtray, which is good.
Good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So I think that was, let me see, that puts me at 3.
Yeah.
And then my 4th one is the reason I'm wearing this shirt today. And the shirt says 6 + 4 + 3 = 2. Do you guys have any idea what 6 + 4 + 3 = 2 is in reference to?
Well,
because there are a few people, and if you do, and that's why I spread the compliment, because I was riding my bike on my bike ride today, and a gal was on her phone, not paying attention to her dog, whose leash was stretched across the sidewalk, and I almost ran into. And as I almost ran into her, she pulled her dog back, and she was wearing this very shirt. And I said, hey, nice shirt. So that's my fourth one. But anything? Do you guys know the 6 + 4 + 3 = 2?
I want to say because math, 6 + 4 is 10 + 3 = 13. Unless you're doing 3 - 1 = 2, I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a baseball shirt.
There you go.
So you have to be a baseball fan, not a math fan. In fact, when I wear it, people look at me and I go, I'm a math teacher. And they go, oh, that makes sense. And I'm like,
because
okay.
math?
No, it's if you play baseball, it's a 6-4-3 double play.
Oh, okay.
Shortstop to second base to first base, 2 outs.
Nice.
And you don't see many of these shirts, but I've actually seen myself and a lady I work with has one, and then this lady who is walking her dog. So
nice.
There's my 4 compliments.
I do love a good Rockies game. I'm not a huge baseball fan.
It's hard to be a fan of the Rockies.
I like to show up in the 3rd inning, and if the game's not going the right way,
that's one of the biggest problems. Yeah. They just don't.
Yeah.
They don't have deep pockets, and today's day and age, you gotta pay for the talent. You just do. I mean, sometimes
I don't even know how they made it into the World Series that one year.
Rocktober, man. God, that was a great time. That brought the boys to it. We went to 4 games during Rocktober. I was in on it.
I wish I was living in Denver at that time.
It was a great time.
It would have been fun.
Yeah, in fact, Aaron and I went to the play-in game where Matt Holliday slid and didn't actually touch home plate. We were there.
Oh.
It was a huge celebration. I don't think he touched home plate personally, but he was called safe, and that was before they had review.
That's all that matters, man.
If we didn't have that, we wouldn't have gotten to the World Series, and we as fans wouldn't have got screwed by StubHub when we tried to buy tickets to the World Series, since StubHub, everybody, people from New York and random places with quick dial computers were buying them all up and then selling them at the bargain price of $400 a seat.
That's it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably on the low
Wait,
end.
you're making it rain over there?
Yeah. So Smarter Challenge, kind of on my way.
Yeah, I'd say we're all, and I think we can all get a pass if we didn't hit the 5 yet.
Yeah, it's only, I think it's only been
only
2
3 days. 2 days.
2.5 days.
Yeah. I've maybe they weren't strangers, all of them, but I've seen you compliment many people this evening. So with that, you, in my book, both of you guys have already mastered this challenge.
It feels good to do nice things, and we'll just keep at it. We got till Monday.
So we did mention something about working out, getting in shape and stuff, and oddly enough, I've heard this in multiple places, right?
All right, let's hear it.
Is that during COVID, a lot of people gained weight. So it's kind of like the freshman 15 or the freshman 20.
Yeah.
But it's like the COVID 20 or whatever.
COVID 22.
And really for me, right before COVID hit, I had that car accident. So I wasn't going to the gyms. I haven't been able to work out for over 2 years now.
Yeah.
And I gained 40 pounds. So yeah, I think it's a good challenge that we had the last week or whatever it was to go to the gym a few times. And yeah, definitely. I think as COVID restrictions start lifting, you're gonna start seeing people definitely exercising.
Well, for sure. Yeah, I gained. I would have to say I blossomed up to 215, and on my 5'9" frame, that's great if you're a outside linebacker, or a defensive back or something. You could run a 4.2 40. But for a 46-year-old guy, I was feeling the extra weight, and did get back into going to the gym here recently. And we did, like a lot of people did, we built a little basement gym, and it's amazing how hard it was to come by gym equipment because that's what everybody was doing. You were stuck in your house. So we had that going. And so I got the weight a little bit back down, but recently they just opened the YMCA in our neighborhood, the rec center. And when they first opened it, you had to wear a mask.
Yeah.
And
that's tough.
That is really hard. Because when you're lifting weights or you're doing something cardio, you're breathing. Yeah. And you can't breathe. Your mask stick into your mouth.
Exactly. That's why when they allowed over a 24-hour fitness in Westminster where I was going, it was masks all the time. I'm like, I'm not going to go do that because I'm a short, fat guy. I'm not going to I need to I'm breathing. I need to breathe.
Yeah, no, I get it. So now, it's nice that those restrictions are up and we're all moving in the right direction.
I agree.
Thanks to the Smarter Challenge.
Absolutely. One thing I want to say, something that was interesting as a reflection about the masks, when I wasn't super consistent with it, but I would go to the gym off and on this week, not that week, this week, not that week, and jog 3-4 times the weeks I would go. With that, the mask, to your point, it fills with, I sweat a lot. It fills with moisture. It's sticking to your face. It makes it more difficult to breathe, but I still...
It can't be healthy for you.
I don't think it can, but I got it done. But what I will say is the last 2 weeks where the mask restriction has been lifted, and yesterday... Noah and I, by chance, met at the gym. We crossed paths, if you will, and I did that same jog, and it was the same. It was the third in a row without a mask. There is something different for me about the experience, about the freedom, the endorphins, whatever it was. The result is so much different. It did not feel as good. It felt like I accomplished something. Like, hey, man, I just ran with a mask on for 30 minutes and lifted some weights for 15 minutes, and now I'm home and I'm gonna clean up and I'm just ready for this day to be over with. And the past couple times without the mask, man, I'm like, man, I wish it wasn't so late. I feel energized. I'm happy. I want to go do something fun.
That's what working out's supposed to do.
Yeah, well, exactly. The endorphins. And so foolishly, I did do something fun. Noah and I stayed up and watched Ultraviolet.
Nothing foolish about that. You had to revisit that from our last
That's true,
Scotch
but
hour.
what that resulted in was 2.5 hours of sleep before I had to get up the next morning for work.
Well, see, the Scotch Hour inspired you to watch Ultraviolet. Probably inspired some of our viewers to watch Ultraviolet also.
It was actually,
Hour.
To talk about it, it actually had some good cinematography.
It really
and
did.
the colors that they use and all that stuff. It was actually it was a good revisit.
For a 20-year-old movie that most people don't even know is about vampires.
Oh, and here's the other weird part about this. There was a virus, right?
Yes,
That's how they became vampires. But there's people walking around with masks.
The whole show.
Back to connection.
Dude, it was
6
insane.
degrees of separation. Back to COVID.
Yeah, back to COVID, man. We were talking about it last night, and we're like, whoa, this is messed up. Like, it's like they foreshadowed what was happening.
I'm gonna have to watch that now because when I did watch it originally, I remember thinking, it's okay. I don't remember, but I'll have to revisit it also to check it out.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, one quick thing I'll throw in. As a parent, it's completely different than the first time I watched it, not a parent. And being a parent, it does have a totally different impact on me. I watched it last night with Noah. Thank you for watching it with me. Great. Like, I enjoyed it. I'm not going to say it's like in my top 50 movies, but great.
What is in your top 3 vampire movies?
Top 3 vampire movies.
Number 2, if I recall.
That's right.
So since we are kind of coming up on the hour here, do you have your Smarter Challenge? Because it is your turn.
I've got this. With that, I want to talk about watches.
I don't wear one.
I know, but we're gonna talk about that. So you do wear a watch. You don't wear a watch. You wear an Apple Watch. I wear a traditional watch. I want to know 3 reasons you would wear any watch of your choice or not wear any watch of your choice. 3 reasons as far as functionality, and 2 reasons that are not based on functionality. So 3 that are about fact and 2 are about emotion, why you do or don't wear the watch you wear.
Okay.
I can give you all sorts of answers, but I don't want to cheat.
All right. Okay. I can talk about my watch. I got no problems there.
Well,
I got watch stories.
And your watch is very functional, and emotionally there are ties because you get texts on it.
Absolutely.
So for me, I don't have that tie from a text standpoint, but I have different emotional ties.
Well, as a kind of seems to be the case in Scotch Hour, sometimes we talk about things that aren't really on our docket. We did hit the COVID exercise, but we really didn't talk much about vacation spots or trips we've gone on.
Well, we do have a few minutes left, so I think we can do a real quick round robin of favorite vacations.
I mean, we could last a whole show on it, though, too.
We could do 10 shows.
We can touch on it. We can touch on it, and then that might be a good lead-in. People will be like, ooh, I want to tune in next week because maybe they're talking about it.
Yeah, so maybe we could talk about that next
Here's
week.
a preview about the next episode.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, this is working out perfectly.
Yeah. All right, Jesse.
All right. There are so many great vacations I have been on adventures is really what I want to call them, even if they're not a vacation, a trip, and for a multitude of reasons. Some of them solo. Some of them are about soul finding for oneself. And I think everyone needs to do at least a little bit of that in life, as I found out way too late in life. I think that there are also little day trips, if you will, where I took a 4-hour drive with Mila and Aiden down to Lake McConaughey. We spent 8 hours there and then drove back. And it was a magical day. We were in the water. The water was way cold. I've got a couple of videos I could show you guys. And it was a blast. And it's one of those things where my kids and I, we still talk about it. And it was one day. Man, I was so tired on the way home. There were a couple of times I pulled over. I'm like, I need a rock star or something. I'm sorry, I just got to pull over to stop. But there's that piece too. And then there's also vacations with like parents and friends. And going to Victoria and Vancouver with my parents, whole different experience. So those are 3 things I'll touch on the next episode, different reasons. But man, adventure is imperative. Now I learned way too late in life again, to the soul. Brian.
Well, I think for vacations, it's all about the memories.
Yeah.
And the vacations you have at the different times in your life. That's what I'll be able to talk about, because there were wonderful vacations I had as a kid, wonderful vacations I had as a parent, wonderful vacations I had as a college student.
Oh, man.
And I think that they're all great, and they all produce wonderful memories for me, but for different, they're great for different reasons.
Yes.
And like if I were to go back and, try to relive a great vacation that I had in college at this stage in my life, it would be pretty lame. But for that stage in my life, it was awesome. And so I have a whole list of wonderful vacations, wonderful trips that I had that I can talk about next time. Because really, growing up, I did not travel much at all.
Yeah,
it was Denver to Michigan. That was all I had done until I met my wife, Erin. And then I became a little bit more of a traveler. Outside of college, I did some spring break trips that were great. So we'll touch on those in our next episode. Noah, how about you?
Me, I've traveled quite a bit in my younger years. So there's definitely some very fun stories out there as far as misadventures in Munich, misadventures in Chicago, some fun stories in Philly.
Love
and also in you could probably include Ireland in there, and most of Western Europe I've traveled through. And so yeah, we'll definitely talk about all that stuff and how it varies when you travel in your younger years versus when you travel versus when you're after you're married and stuff like that.
Yeah, you brought up a really great point, because when I was young, I didn't give a hoot about going on a hike, for example. It was about, okay, let's see, what are what can I do? What's a physical experience? Now it's more of a visual and emotional one.
Cool. Well, yeah, I mean, one of my top ones that I will talk about on the next episode was Disney World. Oh. And it was my first trip to Disney World, my first trip. And I happened to be able to share it as a birthday surprise for my 3 sons.
Oh.
And that was, I could
awesome.
go on about that. The look on their face, how excited they are about everything. That's what made that vacation. So that was one of the.
So it sounds like we already have the topic for next Scotch hour.
A topic.
I think that'll last a whole hour.
I think that might be like a 2-part series of episodes.
It could.
We'll have to give it a roll.
Next week is going to be the 2-hour episode, by the way. Just get ready for it.
I think you're probably the most well-traveled. I think you've probably gone more places than I have, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of my travel, I've been to North America as far as Canada, Mexico, United States. I've been on the West Coast, East Coast. I've traveled to 13 different states in about a 2-month period. But I have not been to Europe, for example.
Yeah, we'll have stories. I'm just thinking of some that I am excited to share. Yeah, people to tune in next week.
Tune in next week. Yeah, we'll talk about
There might be a pony story. I don't know.
we'll talk about some stories.
Is that a pony ride?
We'll talk about some stories. So with that, do you want to go ahead and start who wants to start the close?
Noah, I'll start the close this week. Brian, thank you for taking us to the Bookkeeper and enjoying that experience. Noah, thank you for picking out those. And at the end of the day, here's what I'll say. I can grill a steak. nobody can grill a crummy steak. You can't take a top sirloin and make it taste like a perfect New York strip. And you picked out perfect New York strips, even if all you did was lift it up and say, $55, those look good. Slap it in your cart. $500 later, average Costco experience. Yeah, you're out. But thank you for picking out those perfect New York strips. It doesn't matter how good of a cook you are if you don't have a good cut of meat. As we know from Brian and his education as far as sharing. Yeah, a butcher's son. That's
butcher.
Oh man, that's real. My ex was to this day someone who could pick out, and it's crazy, the perfect ribeye steak. If I had that talent that she does, I could cook those things for 5 minutes too long and they'd still be tender. But thank you for that. Thank you guys for continuing to be genuine on our show. I think it's very easy to want to be a Superman, a superhero. And sometimes it's a little less easy, as I think will come out next week in our vacations and adventures podcast, is sometimes you have to be humble, and there are also very vulnerable parts that come with that. And I want to thank you guys for being so super vulnerable with me, because I'll tell you, like last week when I talked about my son going to high school in basketball, man, I love him to death. I would die for this kid, either one of them. And I don't, this is me being vulnerable. I don't know how to help him right now. So Brian gave me some great advice, and I really appreciated that. And I will take that. And he's on his trip with his mom right now. Good for you, Aiden and Mila, South Dakota. But I love you guys. You're taking one of those road trips. I hope you're having the kind of experience we're going to talk about next week. And with that, Brian, man, I pass it on to you.
Well, I think I'm kind of inspired to talk about trips from the past, but I do think that, Jesse, you brought this up before, that we probably need to pull off a trip together.
Yes!
So,
we definitely.
we talked. We gotta put our brains together and come up with a great little road trip, a nice little weekend, something. So it's
Roswell.
I think so.
The first one.
Or Vegas and the Mafia Museum.
Oh, my God.
I would check some of these places out.
The Vegas Mafia Museum was the biggest surprise of my life as far as museums.
I'm excited. I want to learn about the horror
bar.
Not the horror bar. Yeah, we're going to check that out for sure. But you talked about the tour that you took in Philadelphia. That sounds interesting.
That's not really 41. A road trip, though.
No, that's not a road trip. Well, for my family, we drive. I mean, believe me, you talk about being tired. I'll pull a 19-hour shift, going to Michigan. But I just love hanging out. This is what Scotch Hour is about. It's about three friends hanging out, talking about whatever the heck that crosses our mind. So this has been another great Scotch Hour for me. Look forward to it every week.
Yes.
Noah?
All right. So thank you again, everybody who watches us. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys for joining me in this venture. I know it was my crazy idea to begin with, but Jesse, you hopping on right away. Once again, I can't thank you enough. Brian, it's been a blast having you join us on this, and I greatly appreciate you being our third person, because we've been talking about we wanted you to join.
Yes.
So it's nice to be a third wheel. It's good to
it's
be
not a third wheel.
It's not a third wheel, man.
It's not a third wheel. A tricycle would tip over a lot.
What would happen to your
Exactly. See,
what is it called? Is it called when it comes to bands? It's like a power trio or something like that.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. So
before that, we were putting out some hits, but now we're ready to really hit our stride.
Exactly. So
top 40.
I just want to say thank you, everybody, for watching us. We are on YouTube and Rumble, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, Podbean, and Spotify. Oddly enough, we are on iTunes. However, and I need to figure out what's going on here, is that it is not available in the U.S. market, which apparently we're available in iTunes outside of the United States, but not here. So we'll
Scotland.
Scotland.
Probably watching.
Which might explain why we got the one UK viewer.
Long term, that has to be our goal. We have to go to Scotland.
I would agree with that. And also, the last thing I want to hit on here is that if you do enjoy our podcast, if you like what we do, if we do entertain you, please, please, please become a patron. We do have subscriptions starting as low as $1. Obviously, there are different membership levels, which has different benefits to them. And please leave a comment in the comment field. And if you put whatever scotch you enjoy, we will drink that scotch on Scotch Hour. And if you want to be a part of Scotch Hour, we will do a phone call with you. We'll set it up to where we will record and have you part of our Scotch Hour to where you can be part of the tasting house or even the whole show, if you like.
It would be our pleasure to drink scotch
exactly, right?
for you.
For you.
Cheers to that.
For you.
And there are two things I want to finish up before here. Is that Ben, you did request that we try a bourbon. That is on the docket. We've been talking about when we're going to try it. We do have to find it first. And then Debbie Meyer, you did request in the comments for us to do a top 5 of Twilight Zone episodes. All of us remember watching Twilight Zone, but we don't remember the episodes well enough to pick a top 5. So that might be like 2 or 3 episodes down the line because we'll have to do some research.
Yeah, we're going to take a couple of weeks, watch a couple episodes together, and then, decide. And it'll be interesting. I'm actually super curious, much like the vampire movies where we all picked. There were 9 different favorite vampire movies with each of us.
Yeah, none of us picked the same movie.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see about the Twilight Zone.
So with that, guys, and for all of our viewers, thank you once again. And here's another great night of Scotch Hour.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Can I get one more time of Jesse pronouncing our
Oh, man.
Our Scotch of the night?
Craigellachie.
It's gotten worse.
It's gotten worse.
Dude, Craigellachie.
It's a key.
Craigellachie.
There you go.
Craigellachie.
Craigellachie.
Or Craigellachie.
That's what I said.
That's exactly what you said.
All right,
That's
cheers,
Goonies
guys.
never die. Cheers, guys. Craigellachie.
We hope you enjoyed this evening's episode of Scotch Hour. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have not done so already, please become a patron member with memberships starting as low as $1 a month. Thank you, and hopefully you have a wonderful evening.